build it, he will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Cowk.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cowk with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
Good Thursday morning out there, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports right here on 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. Glad to have you along for the next hour. We'll talk a little NBA at the end of the show. I want you to grade the Thunder's start. 7-4 through the first 11. The first 16 games, when you looked at it in the preseason, were super difficult, and you probably would have taken, 6-12 or 6-10, 7-9. Already 7 wins, 7-4. So how do you grade the Thunder start? Is it better and worse than you thought? And, man, will the Clippers get it figured out? When you look at their starting lineup, watching the Thunder game against the Spurs, what was that, Wednesday. Tuesday, yeah, it's Thursday. It's a Tuesday. And then you see the Clippers and Denver, like right at the first of the game, and they show the starting lineup. And you see James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard as the starting five for the Clippers, and you just go, whoa. Is it more fantasy basketball than real basketball? NFL, I've got an amazing stat, Jared, and I'm going to ask you and all the listeners to guess which quarterback in the NFL has racked up these stats so far. And I'll give them to you right now.
Oh, okay. Let me think about it.
Let you think about it. There is a quarterback in the NFL that is third in the league in touchdowns, throwing touchdowns. First in the league in passing touchdowns per attempt. Second in the league in the least amount of passing touchdowns per interception. So it's almost like strikeouts to walks. He's throwing a bunch of touchdowns without very many picks. Fourth in passer rating. He's tied for first with the most fourth quarter comebacks so far this year. And he's tied for second with game-winning drives.
I have two in mind.
I mean, that seems like a really good quarterback, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I got two in mind.
Okay. Well,
I think I know where you're going with this.
We'll ask you to guess the quarterback here in just a little bit. And then I failed to mention this on Monday, but man, November the 13th, which was Monday, is a really rough day for one franchise in the NFL over the last couple of years. I'll tell you what that means. Okay. If you're Arizona, what do you do? If you're Chicago, what do you do? And by that I mean you've got guys that one has paid a quarterback, the other has drafted a quarterback really high over the last couple of years. Both of those guys are either coming back or are back, but they're both terrible teams. Do you keep on playing what you think is going to be your franchise quarterback, or you just cut bait and try to get a different one? And then
I'll throw another team on that list.
Well, I'm just start with those because they actually have. I mean, a bunch of the rest of them. Who do they got? You have somebody else that has one, but maybe not.
They're kind of in the same predicament.
Yeah, who?
New York Giants.
Yeah, I don't think they got one. Daniel Jones.
Well, I mean, I know the question is about shutting it down and trying to go for the number one pick. You got one team that's paying a dude. You got another team that has should we or shouldn't we pay? Get off his rookie contract and extend him. And Daniel Jones is kind of in. Didn't they just pay him?
They already paid him.
They have already paid him. That's what I'm saying. And now he's hurt and everything. Is it why New York is bad? It's because he's hurt?
No, he just got hurt.
Well, my point is he good enough to get paid?
No, he never was good enough to get paid.
That's what I'm saying because I think Vegas came out or the statistics or analytics or whatever said now they appear to have the inroads to have the number one pick. What do you do?
Oh, they quit. They play Tommy DeVito, who gets lasagna every night from his mom.
Yeah.
In New Jersey.
Yeah.
Literally. Just keep on playing
Gabagoo or whatever it's called.
The good news.
That's why I think New York is kind of intriguing to me. What do they do? Because they just paid their guy, but now they have this high percentage chance of getting the number one pick, who is a lot of people think going to be a quarterback.
They're a lot like Arizona, except for people like Kyler more than Daniel Jones. And they didn't. But Phoenix or Arizona paid Kyler way more than the Giants paid Daniel Jones. They throw them in the mix.
That's why it's intriguing to me.
Huge game tonight. Yeah. And has Thursday night football worked?
You know what? I'm coming around because I know the whole can't find it on the streaming and I'm old and stuff. But, well, I'm not. But I'm coming around because, and I'll tell you why once we get there. Because I found something pretty cool about it.
Okay.
But the matchups, though, I mean, it's a crapshoot. We mentioned the primetime matchups have not been that great.
Yeah, I mean, that happens on Sunday and Monday.
Right. But tonight's matchup
this is a great one
looks
tonight.
like a good one.
It does.
And I'll tell you why I'm intrigued by it, or the Amazon Prime thing,
okay.
And why it's working for me.
We didn't get to this yesterday, but, man, Sports Karma has kicked a couple people right
where they should be kicked.
Right where it ought to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to, you know.
Well, you can't for one, yeah.
Well, you might. You never know.
Right between the legs.
Right between the legs.
Who knows?
And so
who knows anymore?
That made me think. Who are your top 5 most hated athletes of all time?
Oh, that's a good one.
Top 5 most hated athletes of all time.
Man, there's someone that would be on this list, but then they've went off the list since I've kind of got more perspective of them.
Sure.
But you know what I mean? Like Dennis Rodman, for instance. Hated the dude when he played. I mean, I was a kid when he played, but I couldn't stand him. Now I'm like, whatever. I mean, the dude was a competitor, and he was on a team that demanded so much.
He was a legend off the court.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe that's why.
You don't believe me? Go watch it.
Go watch the MJ documentary.
She may not be as smoking hot as she used to be, but I promise you, back in that time, Carmen Electra was the hottest woman on earth.
She was the, who do you compare her to now? I don't know. That'd be weird. But, yeah. He was literally a legend on the court. But this is a good one. This is a good one.
All right, 225-9698 is your phone or your text line, 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We can talk about any of those things. Whatever else might be on your mind, feel free to chime right in at 225-9698. If you're outside the listening area, a couple ways to stay in touch with the show. Log on to kadsam.com or download the app. You download that app. It's for free, and it's got everything. It's got radio. You can check out the Penny News online through the app. Also, go pick up a free copy of the Penny News out and about right now as we speak. You got Big Elk and Paragon TV rolling into basketball season. I'm sure there's games. There'll be games tomorrow. Paragon TV, the Elks and Elkettes don't start till December 1. So 2 weeks from tomorrow for the Elk City basketball season to start. And then, of course, the Paragon, the Skinny on Sports podcast. You can find it each and every day. Where podcasts are. Just go
Aaron,
find
this list of mine's getting long.
Listen,
I gotta narrow it down.
Here's the truth of it. It's an easier list to make athletes you hate than athletes you love, which is kind of sad. Right?
It is, yeah.
I think you can make them I think there's more unlikable than likable. Speaking of unlikable, a couple of athletes that have taken one on the chin lately. And we've already had one of those texted into us as one of the most hated athletes. So within the span of, a week now, we have seen karma jump up and bite a couple of people. One, Deshaun Watson. Out for the year. Problem with his shoulder. You think, why don't people like Deshaun Watson? Well, that's fairly obvious.
Do we really need to dive into that? I mean, unless you've been living in a cave.
Happy endings at massages.
Yeah. That's all we need to say. Unwanted. Or well, he wanted it, but you know what I mean.
But the other one, I think, is even more satisfying if you're waiting on karma. And that's Megan Rapinoe. Megan Rapinoe has been the face of everything I personally don't like, essentially in the world. Not even just sports, but everything to me that's wrong with society. Megan Rapinoe has been the face of. She's getting old, and the U.S. women's soccer team was horrible in the World Cup this year by their standards. And a big part of it was because we're still letting Megan Rapinoe run around there in her late 30s, pretending like she's still good at soccer, and she's not. And then this weekend, what happened to Megan Rapinoe? She suffered what appears to be a career-ending knee injury. And what is her response to that injury? She is such a narcissist that she has the gall to go in front of a microphone and say, basically, this proves my injury, my knee getting hurt and ending my career is proof God doesn't exist. Are you kidding me?
I'm trying to, in a way, for me, it proves God absolutely exists.
I think a whole bunch of people would 100% agree with your statement.
A lot of prayers are answered.
But she is so narcissistic that she doesn't even get the joke of that.
I believe, I was raised in the church. I believe in God. I believe there's a heaven. I believe there's a hell. I believe there is a purpose for everything. And I believe that was God's way of saying, listen, Megan, I need you to pay attention here. Right? I mean, that you hear about that's divine intervention in my. You're like, hey, time to open up your eyes. It's time to wake up to my calling, and that's as preachy as I'm going to get. But again, that's it shows that I think that is 100% proof that God is real.
I do too. I couldn't have said it better.
I mean, karma. There's karma. Then there's kind of one and the same.
Karma's one thing. God's a totally different character.
Yeah.
He has the ability to challenge you as much as you want to be.
Right.
That can be challenged.
I mean, we've all been challenged in lives, and we look up at the sky and go, "Why, God? I need an answer here." And you go to the good book and you start praying about it, and it puts stuff in perspective. And this is a situation where she should be taking this and, okay, this is, my career's not had a great career. I appreciate my family. Be humble and be thankful. No, she took this route, which is incredibly naive and stupid.
But she's just a
just
giant
a dumb
narcissist.
person.
She's just
she
a
is.
giant narcissist.
Yeah.
So with this happening, with those two, that a lot of people don't really find much love for. And with the choking incident that happened on the floor Tuesday night with Draymond, it got me to thinking, who are your top 5 most hated athletes? We got some jokesters on my text line trying to say Ken Griffey Jr. is one of those. He's clearly not. Ken Griffey Jr. is one of the most beloved athletes of all time. J-Mac and Possum. We all know that. Just because you two yahoos don't like him and try to get under my skin, it's not going to work. Everybody loves Ken Griffey Jr. with his backwards hat and his home runs and his sweet left-handed swing. He's awesome.
His commercials during the postseason.
And all of a sudden
good.
He's back. Yeah, a little fatter version of Ken Griffey Jr.
Right.
Hey, whatever.
I liked it.
We all get that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nice try. That's not going to work. We all know he's not one of the top 5 most hated athletes of all time. He's on the other list. But seriously though, top 5. If you could, you got a big old. You've been typing the whole show.
I've been trying to rank them.
Okay, start. Give me some ideas of your top 5.
Can I just start throwing you?
Yeah, just start firing.
I took Rapinoe. Rapinoe was on there, and I took her off because it was an obvious choice for one, and two, it's for my personal list. Do I not like her? Absolutely. I think she's trash, but it's not a sport I watch over and over again, so it didn't bother me as much. And two, the only time you saw her in the headlines, it wasn't for what she accomplished on the field. It was for whatever color her hair was and whatever was coming out of her mouth. And it didn't. I was like, well, I don't want to watch that sport. Mm-hmm. No offense to soccer lovers out there, Scott, guys. I'm not ripping you guys. I just don't watch the sport as much as I do these other sports,
right.
Which is why I can't stand these people I'm about to spout off to you. So, I'll put it in order. Number 5, and I got reasons behind this.
This is amazing. Just right quick.
We got a good list.
This is amazing.
This is a great topic.
We've got like 4 texts in so far, and every one of them has had the same guy on there.
I got to see if I have it on there.
Go ahead. Which is crazy because he hasn't played in like 35 years.
Okay. Number 5 for me is Richard Sherman. You talk about karma when they lost that Super Bowl, but the way he was that post-game interview, I'm a big set an example guy.
That's when they won.
But I know, but the next year.
Oh, yeah.
When
say against with Aaron
the
Andrews,
look on his face became a classic meme and all that. I'm a big set an example guy, and I thought that's the example you're setting for. And you're a Stanford guy, and you're a smart dude, and that's it. It didn't set well with me, and I just always would watch to see him fail.
Okay,
and now he's not playing anymore. But anyways, number 4, Barry Bonds. Just outright cheater. Everybody knows it. He knows it. Do I need to say more? Just a steroid fanatic cheater,
okay.
and tainted the game during the steroid era. Now, number 3 is it's think about who I root for, and again, karma came back and got this guy, but Jose Bautista. Joey Bats.
From the bat flip days.
From the bat flip, and then the bang the punch. What the following year. But then the guy was in his hit. And then it's like right after that punch, right after his glass jaw shattered, his career just kind of slowly went down the tubes. Number 2 is, it could be, there's really a tie for all 5. Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel.
I would have never thought about it.
Never a fan of this guy. Again, a lot of these stuff you don't even have to explain why, but his demeanor, great football player, could have been a really likable guy because he was fun to watch. The way he played was fun to watch, but his off-field stuff, the money sign, the year after the summer of the controversy and all that stuff, just a unlikable dude. And then I know I'm probably living in the immediate, but I will never forget this guy kicking Steven Adams right between the legs and getting away with it. And then subsequently all the other stuff that happened, you can go back to then and then up till Tuesday night, all the stuff that happened. Draymond Green, the guy is trash. He's a trashy player. He knows he's becoming irrelevant, so now he's becoming even more violent. There's a theory that he wanted to get thrown out of that game because Steph wasn't going to be on the court.
Did you hear that stat?
He didn't want to take the blame. What's the stat?
Did you hear the stat that Jim put out there?
No.
Because Rudy Gobert, after the game, mentioned
he
Draymond
said that.
always gets thrown out when Steph. So it was like, I think Jim said Steph hasn't played like 70 games since they've been teammates. Something like a number less than, it's like 70. And in those 70 games, Draymond's been kicked out of 7 of them now. In the rest of the games in his career, which has to be hundreds, he's only been kicked out of 4. The percentage is like 10% in one and 1% in the rest of his career.
Did he even warm up? Did he know, okay, as soon as something happens, I'm getting thrown out. I don't want to be on this court if Steph isn't here to bail me out with his threes. Yeah, he's trash to me.
Is he preparing for a career in the WWE? He's probably too old for that to be effective.
It was funny. It works for people like Pat McAfee. As soon as he retired, he did some, had those appearances, and then now look at him. It's it elevated his brand, I guess, of what he does. No, I think Draymond, he wants to be. Isn't he an employee still with TNT?
See, I'm afraid he's going to ruin maybe the best sports show of all time.
Yeah, because that can't last forever. Somebody's going to retire. I mean, somebody's going to want to get off the stage, and he's going to take it over.
And it's going to be worse.
And it's going to be worse. Yeah, I won't watch. I won't watch.
Inside the NBA.
I can't even hear. I can't stand hearing him talk.
That's another great
He does
one.
the podcast in the middle of a season. And I get that's a thing now, but like, dude, take your. Where's your focus?
Mm-hmm.
I think that whole incident happened Tuesday night. This is a great analysis. I can't remember where I heard it. I'm just relaying it. Might have been CBS Sports or something, but they were talking about, he is in Golden State. They're kind of are they at the end of this dynasty? Are they at the end of this? And is he frustrated because he's seeing, okay, this window of opportunity to win at the highest level in the NBA is closing, and he's frustrated by it. Tell you want to beat Golden State, frustrate Draymond. Just frustrate him.
I think he's getting to the end, and he's also trying. He's never been the brand of Golden State, right? He's just been a ancillary piece.
He's
not a splash brother.
He's had Clay. He's had Steph. He's had KD.
And he's trying to.
They brought in
elevate. He's trying to elevate his own brand because of going to slip into that show. That's where he's headed. We all can see it coming.
Yeah.
He's going to ruin it because nobody likes him. The thing that makes that show work is that even though that Barkley was, I'm not a role model guy, but he's likable. Shaq was always likable. And then Ernie's perfect as kind of the point guard. And then, Kenny Smith is funny. Whatever. That's what makes it work.
Yeah.
Draymond's going to mess that up. And it's going to be so sad. All right. For me, it's funny because there's a dude that everybody's naming. We've got a bunch of texts. And everybody is named the same person, which is crazy because this dude hasn't played in literally, 30 years. Bill Laimbeer is on everybody's list. That just strikes me as funny that Bill Laimbeer is making everybody's list. Just because of, how long ago it was that he played. Man, Megan Rapinoe.
I'm surprised, and it came up on the text line. I'm surprised
OJ
hasn't been mentioned more.
OJ.
But again, I think
everybody loved the juice
when he played. Exactly.
Until he killed his wife and Ron Goldman, everybody loved him.
Yeah, I think it's about an on-court, on-field, right?
There's Bill Laimbeer again. Everybody's got it.
Crazy.
Okay. Megan Rapinoe is 100% in my list. I don't know where she fits, but she's definitely there. Draymond is definitely on my list. And here's the thing. A lot of times I don't mind the instigator guy.
Yeah.
But he just is taking it so overboard. And maybe it's because of I think a lot of these things are when they do it to your own team. Kicking Steven Adams in the junk in the middle of the Western Conference Finals was awful. LeBron James is 1,000,000% on my list, and it has nothing to do with not liking him and how he plays. It's just the way that he allows himself to be a puppet for things that I disagree with, and it's just so fake. He's so fake to me.
Well, he's a sellout.
Well, it's just, like MJ, hey, Republicans buy sneakers too. Whereas LeBron's, he just wears me out. We finally had a name. I can't believe it took this long on the text line. Well, we finally have another one that's one of my top 5. It's Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
And part of it probably isn't even his fault. It's just the way that everything surrounded him. And still does to this day. The guy hasn't played in 6-7 years? And every time a quarterback gets hurt, you see the people. It's immediate.
They should
pick up Kaepernick.
Sign him, yeah.
We're sure his right arm even works. So I've got him. And then this other one, I actually really like this dude. And so it's not really his fault that I have this hatred for him. It was 100,000% a media creation. 2008, Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
For Tom Brenneman to go on the broadcast of the national title game and talk about how this is the guy you'd want to bring home, that you'd want your daughter to bring home to marry. Come on, man. It just got so overboard.
It wore out a lot of people.
Just so
and
overboard.
It wasn't his fault. That's why I guess I didn't put him on my list.
Tebow's a great
I didn't
dude.
Consider him.
But everything around him just got so overhyped.
I mean, game day you can reserve about 30 minutes of total time. It'd be Tebow time. There's always a 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, a special segment here, how he went and bought this for kids and what. It went on and on every single week.
Man, Bill made me realize I forgot two people. I'm going to take Tim Tebow off because I actually like him.
Okay.
And this is going to be a duo. And it's going to be Greg Popovich and Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Those two. Gabe Benecki, remember him? You know who Gabe Benecki is?
I don't remember him.
He was a University of Texas basketball player back in the day. One of the most hated athletes in the history of the Big 12. Gabe Benecki. He was like the Draymond of college basketball back then. I can't believe you don't remember Gabe Benecki.
I guess I don't.
Oh, my gosh. He was awful.
Yeah, we'll get some Christian Leitner text.
I think if we ask this question.
I was too young to hate the guy. I just thought
there's
the
literally,
dude plays for Duke, and Duke's good. That's all I knew. But
there's literally a 30 for 30 that is, I hate Christian Leitner.
Yeah. Yeah, and then years later, and this is a guy I couldn't stand, Grayson Allen, another Duke guy. Just a dirty player. But the reason I hated him, I mean, if you're going to hit somebody or take cheap shots, at least own up to it. He was always, what did I do? What did I – like, you know exactly what you did. And Draymond's kind of in the same vein.
Patrick Reed on the text line from Will. And then Greg Matt, come on. That's just Cub. That's just because he went to the Braves. That's all that is. That's just Cubby. Have you seen Greg Maddox is starting to pop up in some stuff talking about like his theory of pitching? Have you seen any of this?
No.
He's sitting around kind of in a low-key atmosphere, people asking him questions. And the question was, how hard was it to pitch to Barry Bonds? And Maddox said, Barry Bonds is one of the easiest guys ever to pitch to. The crowd's like, what? What do you mean? He goes, it's pretty simple. If the game was even a little bit in doubt, you just walked him. He is easy to pitch to. If it mattered, you didn't pitch to him. You just walked him and moved on to the next guy. And if it didn't matter, then you kind of see what he could do. Bill Laimbeer. Man, there's a lot of Bill Laimbeer hate out there. Rightfully so. And you know what's cool about Bill Laimbeer, and it's kind of cool about Draymond, all in the same vein? They don't care that you hate them.
No,
at least they kind of own up to it. You know what I mean? They own it. Hey, I know people hate me, and I don't care. I'm going to keep on being the same that I am. Jose Canseco's getting some love.
I bet there's some baseball purists out there who cannot stand Angel Hernandez.
Yeah.
I'm surprised more officials haven't landed on this list.
I can't believe no one said Baker. You know what?
Well, go to Stillwater and ask this question. Go to Austin and ask this question.
Yeah, you get Baker Mayfield for sure.
You know what there are some parallels with Baker and Johnny Football, right? With the way they played, the way they took over the game and all that stuff. But what I liked about Baker was he was obviously because
played for OU.
He played for OU, but he didn't do that shady stuff. He was more of when the way he acted on the field, it was to throw gasoline on the fire for his team, and you saw his team galvanize around that and rally around that. But a lot of people outside, you either loved to root for the guy because he was an OU guy, or you hated him because he was beating your team.
That's the difference. To me, the difference between Baker and Johnny Manziel is one had an A&M on their helmet, the other had an OU. Here's one that I can't believe nobody said. Meta World Peace.
Oh, yeah.
Ron Artest.
Yeah, you mean Ron Artest?
Yeah.
That's his name. Yeah, that's a good one.
You see that? That's Shocky's little boy dressed up as Angel Hernandez for Halloween.
I saw that.
Yeah, Ron Artest. If we'd have asked this question 10 years ago, Ron Artest gets a lot more love as a hated athlete. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He almost wasn't relevant enough, and I wonder if that's the road that Draymond's headed down to. 10 years from now, Draymond's done in the league. Does anybody still really hate him because of his lack of care or status? You know what I mean? So in some ways, it also tells you how great some of these guys really were. I mean, except for Bill Laimbeer. Bill Laimbeer was such a jerk that we're still 30 years later, people still hating Bill Laimbeer. And rightfully so. If you weren't a Bad Boys fan, you hated it. That was like maybe Bill Laimbeer should run for president, and that would bring the country together because everybody hates Bill Laimbeer.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're getting some James Harden. Yeah.
He keeps hopping from team to team and hurting their cause.
Has he requested a trade from the Clippers yet?
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
The rest of the players on that team may want to trade him. Get him out of here.
And Philly's actually doing okay. Did they win last night against Boston? I can't.
I think they won by 1.
There you go.
Talking about athletes, the most hated athletes.
That could be a full special by itself.
Got some Roger Clemens love coming.
Clemens is a good one, or a bad one.
Okay, Jared. At the top of the show, I gave you some stats of an NFL quarterback. We got Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's he's just lost his mind.
Yeah, at this point, you feel sorry for that guy.
He might be the poster boy for CTE.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. NFL stats of one quarterback so far this season, and I want you to guess who it is.
Okay.
I'll redo it. He's third in passing touchdowns. He's first in pass touchdowns per attempt. He's second in touchdown to interception ratio. Fourth in rating. First in fourth quarter comebacks. Second in game-winning drives. Amongst quarterbacks this season in the NFL. Jared, who is that quarterback?
Okay. All those stats leading up, I was almost about to tell you Dak, but the fourth quarter thing tells me C.J. Stroud. Am I wrong on both?
Yep.
Oh, then I don't know. I don't know.
It's not Stroud.
It's not Stroud.
That's been the guess since I read those stats off with C.J. Stroud.
Who is it?
I think it's going to shock people. Okay, who don't you think it is?
Well, it's not going to be your obvious answers like Mahomes.
I mean, in a bad okay, it can't be that guy because he's not good.
You're talking about this. This screams at me a quarterback, a good quarterback on a bad team or mediocre team.
We're getting Pickett. Nope, it's not Pickett. I mean, because you read those stats would tell you
the fourth quarter one.
The stats would tell you he's what, a top 10 quarterback in the league, easy.
Yeah,
if not top 5.
Right. A name we should know, but we probably don't.
It's a name you know.
You got to throw it at us.
Let him cook. Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson.
He's gotten comfortable there in Denver. He's the higher elevation he's gotten over that.
Russell Wilson has turned the Russell Wilson, Sean Payton.
Isn't it funny when everybody, media, fans, even the home fans, when they just cast him aside, they say, you're done, you're trash, and everyone forgets him and everyone stops talking about him, and then they do something like this. You've seen it more than once.
Okay, I think everybody listening, if I said, okay, who's better, Miami or Denver?
Well, your immediate answer is going to be Miami.
And Miami beat them 70-20.
Well, yeah.
But Miami still hasn't beaten a team with a winning record. And in the last 2 weeks, Denver has beaten the Chiefs and the Bills. I just found that fascinating.
How much did the Bills help them, though? You know, they kept turning the ball over
and
missing the field goal. But
wasn't it
12
was it not ironic
field?
that the 12th guy on the field was Damar Hamlin?
Oh, was it him?
He was the 12th guy.
I didn't even see who that was.
Yeah.
I just went, oh, no. They had 12 on the field?
Damar.
I didn't know that.
Or maybe the ghost of Damar, depending on what you believe. Yeah.
Or the imposter. His body double.
His clone. Yeah, Russell Wilson. And Denver making their way back toward 500.
Hey, I'm rooting for him.
I've always kind of liked Sean Payton. He's always kind of been a little bit of a butthole, but in a good way. Okay, so November the 13th, which was Monday, speaking of the Bills and that loss to the Broncos, you realize what's happened to the Bills the last two November the 13ths? So there was the crushing loss this Monday to the Broncos, in which the Broncos literally missed the game-winning field goal. Bills had 12. They run it back out and make it. You know what game they played last November the 13th?
No.
The one against the Vikings. Remember that one? No. Justin Jefferson makes that stupid catch.
Yeah.
They stop him on the goal line. Then Allen fumbles the snap trying to take a knee. And the Vikings recover in the end zone to win the game.
Yes.
That's back-to-back November the 13th for the Bills. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
Just two of the craziest finishes you can think of. Anyhow, I thought that was interesting how good Russell Wilson actually has been.
Everyone's preseason playoff picks are probably in shambles if the Bills don't make the playoffs. There's a good percentage chance that they're not unless something dramatically turns around.
You know, C.J. Stroud's being mentioned on that question that I asked. How realistic is it that he's in the MVP race? He's got to be in there, right?
I think so.
I mean, if C.J. Stroud leads the Houston Texans to the playoffs, shouldn't he automatically win?
The fans will say yes, but it always goes to the guy the most. That drives me crazy about all-star picks and MVP picks. It's who's the most. It's like a popular vote, and everyone's going to say, "Oh well, look at Mahomes. Look at."
Yeah, Mahomes' year isn't that great. Jalen's year isn't that great.
Yeah, but those are the guys are going to leap up to the top of the list because of who they are and who they play for. But I agree with you though. C.J. Stroud is
he's got to be in the running.
And my definition has always been for an MVP, it's in the friggin' name, most valuable player. You take that most valuable player off a team, and that team is garbage.
We saw it last year. We saw it since Deshaun Watson left.
Right.
Houston's been terrible.
And he fits that definition for me. I totally agree with you. That's why I kind of said Tua too. I mean, when I've had him, that was a couple weeks ago.
They haven't beaten a team. They got to beat somebody.
I know.
That's the thing about Houston. They've actually beaten some decent
but
teams.
I guess I like the story of Tua with the horrible injury in college, getting drafted despite all that, and now he's having some success. And I'm
gonna need Tua to get rid of the cornrows. He don't look good in cornrows. You see that yesterday?
No.
Just come on, Tua.
I have not noticed that.
You're trying to be Jalen too much. Don't run. That way you get to continue to play. What do you do if you're Arizona? Arizona's terrible.
If they did not want Murray, and if they did not want the number one pick, why would they play him last week? If they wanted to trade him, why didn't they trade him before the deadline? I think it's clear they're keeping him.
I think here's the deal. I think Kyler Murray a year ago at this time in this situation is infinitely more tradable than he is now because they paid him.
They paid him.
That's the whole. Yeah. I don't know. There's somebody out there, if Arizona was willing to sell, that would buy, except for the contract that they signed him to. Then you've got to have a lot of faith in what you believe of Kyler Murray. You know, they're since you've paid him, and I mean, listen, last week, I think this is going to be so interesting to watch because he's always been really, really good for like the first 8 weeks. Then his size and his endurance gets kind of wore down, and you see him sort of start to fade, get nicked up as the season rolls along. Now you get him, hasn't played a down until after the halfway point in the season. So you get him at his best to finish the year when everybody – I mean, did you watch any of that game?
Of Arizona?
Yeah.
No.
Did you see any – I mean, he looked so much faster than anybody else on the field. And it's because he's dead fresh and everybody else has played 10 games.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying like a couple days ago, yeah. Yeah, but that's what – I mean, it's a long NFL season, and I think we've seen time and time again. Look at Lamar. He's finally figured out, I got to be a better passer, right? I mean, now last week wasn't so much the case, but he's figured out I can't run all the time and stay up in this league. I mean, look at Richardson in Indianapolis. Hopefully he learns that quick. I think it was what ultimately got Cam Newton at times.
Oh, 100% for Cam.
So, yeah, Kyler, you get him now at 100% fresh in week, what is this, 11, 12?
Yeah.
He's yeah, you'd hope he'd be 100%.
He's going to look
faster than other guys.
Yeah, I mean, he just looks so fast.
What does that mean are they totally out of it?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I haven't looked at standings.
To make the playoffs?
Yeah, they're totally.
they're done.
If they're dead, bury them.
They're 2-8, and the
right,
Niners.
But that's a horrible division. I mean,
it's not either.
Well, the Niners, but then everybody else.
And Seahawks. Seahawks are 6. They're both 6-3. There's no chance they can make the playoffs.
I wonder.
No way. Even if they win every game, they're 9-8.
Man, I don't even know if I'm Kyler going. Statistically, mathematically, we're out of it. Why would I come back? But maybe he's listen. I got to show they're still stalking me.
Here's a great question I just got on my phone.
Want to get drafted or traded to a contender?
Kyler or Dak?
Dak.
That's a no-brainer, right?
That's Dak. It's Dak.
I 100% agree. No doubt about it. Dak Prescott is way better than Kyler. Has been way better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that we sit here, and I do it too. You know, the Lamar can't throw. The Lamar makes the bad decisions, da-da-da. And somebody out there, and you can see it on the shows in the morning on different things, trying to make it a race thing. But it is kind of ironic, right? Because there's 2 quarterbacks in this league that literally can't make a mistake without just getting absolutely hammered. They can't do anything wrong on Sunday to not get obliterated on Monday. And it's Lamar and it's Dak. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Joe Burrow and Josh Allen can literally throw games away. Crickets. Pure crickets.
Yeah.
Now, the one guy, the reason why you can't, because there's another guy that is totally insulated. And Herbert's that way too, by the way. Herbert, there's no criticism of Herbert. But there's another guy that's that way too. And I said it before the year, it was ludicrous for him to be in the top 5 players in the league. And that's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts cannot be there's no criticism of him. Even though he's just a turnover machine. But the difference is his team just happens to win. They win the games. I mean, to act like Jalen Hurts outplayed Dak Prescott in that game a couple weeks ago is absurd. Dak played way better, but his team didn't win. And Dak made, down the stretch, a couple of plays that aren't winning plays, and they lost. I can't wait for Monday. Philly at KC. Yeah. Super Bowl rematch. And then tonight, man, what a game tonight. You had a theory on Thursday. Because I asked, has Thursday night football worked?
Well, I mean, when you get the matchups, you get the matchup. Though they are what they are. And there's a lot of question going in of who's going to watch, who's going to be able to watch. Does anyone have Amazon Prime? No offense, Dad, but would my dad even – I don't know if my dad's ever watched a game on Thursday night. I'm not sure he knows how. There's all of that. But obviously we know how to figure that out, and I enjoyed it because there's options. It's more of a, how do I say this, user interactive. You can watch different versions of it.
Yeah.
You can watch your traditional broadcast with Kirk and Al, or you can watch like an analytic broadcast where it uses that Amazon that AW whatever it's called, that analytics stuff, and it actually, based on the formation, you're hearing the broadcast, the play-by-play. It's more of a wide-out shot, and you can see, okay, they'll highlight, okay, 2 wideouts up here, they'll tell you who they are, and then as soon as the play is snapped, it kind of predicts where they're going to go, like the route running and all that stuff, and it's interesting, and it's like, well, kind of look at it and go, he should have thrown it here, higher percentage chance to complete the pass, this, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But then what was cool to me, the other day I found out, I think it was last Thursday, a couple Thursdays ago, I joined the game late, and I turned it on. I'm going to it, and it gave me an option of something called Rapid Recap.
Yeah, you told me about this.
I was like, what's this? So I click on it. Well, it starts from the beginning of the game, and it basically gives you a highlight package, all the scoring plays, the plays that set up the scores, all the way up until, boom, you're live. And so it's like, okay, I just got recapped of what happened, and this is how we got here. And I'm planning on going to a basketball game tonight. I promised a buddy of mine I'll go watch him play. It's a junior high game. So I know I'm going to join the game late. Sure, I'll check the score on my phone, but I'm not going to know. I'm just going to see what the score is. As soon as I get home, I'm going to hit that rapid recap. See how we got to where we are. By the time I get home, it might be late third quarter, and I'll be caught up.
Right.
So I like what it's not as simple as Amazon got this broadcast and they're just going to turn it on. They're doing things where make more appeasing and appealing to the fans and more interactive to the fans. And I think it's the future of broadcasting, to be honest with you. I think we're going to see more of this on other platforms. I enjoyed it. But now the game itself, I'm glad we got a marquee game tonight. And again, the primetime matchups, it's a crapshoot at the beginning of the year. They have these set. Now there's flex options and stuff like that, and we'll see that. We'll see some Saturday night stuff flex because of playoff implications. We always do, but it is what it is. It's still NFL, and it's still the main show on Sunday nights, Monday nights, Thursday nights for me, anyways, because it's NFL football and it's the best sport we got going right now in this country. So I'll watch. I don't care who the matchups are, because I was like, okay, Thursday night football, it's on. I
think that's the beauty of it, is that the fact that it is on Thursday nights, it's the only show in town, and a game that you would never consider turning to, even if you have, like, let's say you have the ticket, a game you'd never ever consider watching on a Sunday, you'll sit down and watch on Thursday.
Yeah,
I think that's the genius of it. Is making every team have one. Every team has to play, no matter who you are. And eventually your time comes, and maybe it's Cincinnati and Baltimore like it is tonight, or maybe it's 2 terrible teams like we've seen a bunch of different times this year. But even though the football isn't normally very good,
still football.
And the games seem to be pretty close.
Yeah.
For a majority, even if it's a bad game.
That's the glory of having 2 bad teams, is that, okay,
right?
Yeah, these are 2 bad teams playing, but it's still a close game.
And I think Thursday evens even a terrible team against a good team. I think playing 4 days after you just played and how brutal that is on your body kind of evens the playing field for everybody that has to play that game. It may not have worked in the sense of, with the prime stuff, it's harder to find. The ratings are what they are.
I want to know, since they've gotten this game, how much subscription to Prime has gone up.
We looked at that first week, and it was like double their annual.
I'm sure it's gone up since.
But that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gone up since.
We were talking about the Thursday night and the Amazon, whether or not it's working or not. I found this in fourth quarter 2022, which would have been last football season, the inaugural year of Thursday night on Amazon. Sales on Amazon rose 9% year over year in quarter 4 of a year ago. I'm going to go ahead and say it's working. Whether or not they're getting the viewership numbers that's kind of normally been the standard of judging matters not to them because they're not just a television station.
No.
They're a place where they sell stuff. What a great idea.
Oh, man. They could care less that people are subscribing to them to watch. That they got your subscription, and then you're going to, oh, man, those bath towels look nice.
So
I'm going to buy that. Oh, while I'm here, I need some more of this.
So 2022.
It's it's a win-win-win-win for them.
Here, I'll tell you. I'll give you the numbers.
Okay.
Last year was the start of an 11-year, $1 billion a season contract with the NFL. So they're paying $11 billion for 11 years. You want to give a guess? I mentioned 9% increase in sales last year in the fourth quarter. You want to give a guess to what that number was?
I'm horrible at percentages.
No. I mean, 9% increase to what? What do you think Amazon's sales in the fourth quarter of 2022 were?
I don't know. What is it? I'm horrible. I'm horrible at this.
$149 billion.
There you go.
So $11 billion. So they spent $1 billion for $149 billion, which 9% increase. So that's 81, 44, 12. So 12 million or 12 billion increase. So they were at say 136, 137, and now they're up to 149 in quarter 4 of last year. So I'm going to go ahead and say that worked for them.
I think it worked.
Oh, dear.
I think that'd be a good investment.
Did you see this?
What you got? I'm not saying anything.
Dakota just sent this to us on the text line. I wonder if this is happening as we speak. On the other...
Oh, wow.
The Hump Man announces his retirement from Sports Talk Radio. 31 years. That may have just happened opposite of us.
Maybe. Darn. Well, hey, he's I wonder if his son will take over. His son's been
obviously in the mix.
Kind of been groomed here last couple years. I certainly hope he still goes to the Masters and at least gives us some reports.
I mean, I need to call him.
Craig Humphreys?
Yes. To get some Masters tips.
That's what you need to do. I'm sure Jim will connect with Jim.
I've literally thought about texting Jim and saying, hey, can you ask Craig kind of some tips for a first-time Masters goer?
There you go.
Is that a humble brag I just made?
No, you need to brag about that all you can.
Is that a humble brag?
You need to brag. I'll brag about I got to go see the Texas Rangers during the season that they won the World Series. I will always remember that. I mean, it's not like once in a lifetime to go see the Texas Rangers, but it is. I remember going to that game, watching the game, thinking, you know what? What if they go and win the World Series? I can say I went during the season that they won the World Series, which is cool to me. Yeah, I would brag all day long about going to the Masters.
I'm going to the Masters.
You're going to the Masters.
I'm going and you're not.
Hey, I know it.
Go ahead.
We're a little old Western Oklahoma small market radio, but I don't know, it probably doesn't mean a lot, but if it relates to Craig Humphreys, congratulations on a fine career. Fine career.
He is quite honestly the reason why we are talking on these airwaves right now. He created the sports animal.
That's true. That is very true.
What is the sports animal right now was created by Craig Humphreys. No doubt about
it. If that's true, that's a pretty reliable source, what we're seeing right there. And it was liked by the sports animal.
Yeah.
A tweet from Chris Evans.
Yeah, he's a media guy.
Not Captain America Chris Evans.
Chris Evans is the NFHS guy.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's that guy that kind of puts all that together.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Anyhow.
Well.
Yeah, definitely. Job well done to the Hump Man.
Yes. Very good.
Speaking of the Hump Man, yeah, here you go. Sam Humphreys just put out a tweet. Legendary career dad. You always did things the right way. You're the best role model anybody could ask for. Hope to see you on the golf course sometime. Love you. We all love you. obviously in response to that.
Says he'll stay on
through Christmas.
Through Christmas.
And maybe not shockingly enough, when you look at the picture that Sam posted, the Hump Man is in full Augusta regale. A Masters visor and a Masters shirt.
Hey, I'm going to put you on the spot on air. Are you taking orders? Can I send money with you to bring home some
Yes,
swag?
you can.
Don't let me forget that.
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna need the classic hat and maybe a polo. I will send them. I don't care what the amount of money is. Set up your Venmo, man. I can just Venmo you the money.
I've got a Venmo.
You can just text me and go, this is what you owe me, and I'll Venmo it to you. Absolutely.
You will not be the only one doing
I'm sure
that.
you need to take an extra empty suitcase, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're driving, though. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, we are driving.
Yeah. Just throw it in the car.
Anybody got any between here and Augusta and probably way of, say, Nashville, any
what you need to do,
food, restaurant?
You just need to research everywhere Triple D has been.
I've already done it.
And just make a map.
Not only have I done it, I've done it online to see, and then I've gone back and kind of watched
the shows that he's
to see exactly. You know, there's
one thing about going there, but does it fit your appetite?
There's one in a place called Tucker, Georgia, which is kind of it looks like maybe a northeast suburb-ish of Atlanta.
Okay.
And it's called Matthew's Cafeteria. I'm talking like quintessential Southern
eatery
diner type place.
Oh, I love that. That's going to be fun. Driving's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun trip. That's going to be a real bond. And your wife's going, right? That's going to be a real bonding experience.
I mean, no kidding. Two of the places that I've wanted to go the most in America, we're going to get to go to on the same trip. One of them, if there's a city in America that I have never visited that I wanted to, it's Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
It is number one on my bucket list of going to.
It is, yes. I've been once. Yes.
And then, obviously, the Masters is number one on my bucket list of sports.
Yes.
By leaps and bounds.
Yes. Nashville is a city. I went once. It was for a wedding, so I wasn't really able to do the touristy thing. We went downtown one night, which is a trip. It's awesome. They call it Nash Vegas for good reason. But I want to go, see the Raymond. I want to see the Country Music Hall of Fame, just do the touristy stuff. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a good city.
Yeah, there you go. Go to the Food Network and look up Triple D's. I literally have.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
I'm not even kidding.
Sure you have.
I've gone through and watched the episodes around like Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then I haven't got to the Nashville ones yet, but that's coming. There's the Nashville hot chicken. That's a big thing. Are you supposed to do Tradio?
Yes. No.
Okay,
no,
good.
I'm trading Tradio. I do it tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Because, no.
I didn't see nobody panicked and ran in here.
No.
So
I'm
I
in the
assumed
clear.
you weren't.
I confirmed it the first thing I got here. I confirmed.
We can just kind of sit here and shoot the breeze for a couple minutes since we finally got onto food.
Well, people might be wanting I'm not trying to push us off, but like, oh, wait, we want to hear Hump Man. What's he saying? But
we got plenty of time for that.
Okay.
How many Triple D restaurants have you been to?
One.
Just Ishins?
No, two then.
Okay. Where have you been?
Ishins and Nick's.
Oh, Nick's. Yeah.
There's another one in Oklahoma City. Flo's.
There's a whole bunch of Oklahoma City.
Florence's Flo's or like fried ribs or something like that is their specialty.
Yeah, there was.
It's near the Capitol.
One of the very first episodes of Triple D was at Leo's Barbecue in Oklahoma City.
Really? One of the first ones?
One of the very first episodes. There's Guyudi's. Have you been to Guyudi's?
No.
That's a Triple D spot. I'm trying to think. In Oklahoma. I've been to Nick's. Ishins. Has he been to Sid's? I don't think he's been to Sid's. I think Will's he's messing with us.
I don't know. That sounds familiar.
I mean, Sid's is delicious. Fried onions and onion burgers in El Reno, but I didn't realize Guy had been there. Guyudi's he's been to. There's our boss.
Which one?
Blake.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hump Man?
No, the Oakland A's, it's official. They're moving to Vegas.
Oh, really?
Vegas, baby.
That's how little the MLB matters on Twitter. Because I've literally got my Twitter pulled up and I haven't seen it yet.
It pulled up. I got the
you did?
ESPN alert earlier. But yeah.
Florence's and Ishins. So Nick's, Ishans, Gaiutis. You know one that I haven't been to? The Saucy Sicilian. He went there to the food truck. He's been to the Rock Cafe in Stroud.
You know,
the one in Veneta. What's it? Clanton's.
It's not McDonald's over the interstate.
Clanton's Cafe in Veneta. He's been to. He's been to a place in Norman. The Diner, I think it was. Yeah.
What final question? I know we gotta go, but what is a place in Western Oklahoma he should visit? I have one in mind.
Oh, I don't want to offend anybody.
Okay.
I think, but no, I think
there's a lot of worthy places. Don't get me wrong.
I think for what he does and the style of show that he is, I think the first answer that would leap into a lot of people's minds would be, what's it called in Clinton?
White Dog?
Yeah, but I think it's too upscale. I don't think that's a diner, drive-in, or dive.
It's not.
But it's a cool story, and it's a cool place, and it's a cool view.
Yeah, the food's great, and then the
the place that leaps off at everything of what he does, and there it is on the text, the Pack Saddle Bar.
Really?
Yes.
Man, because that game is so early for me, I would have to take like half the day off just to enjoy it because the game's at 5 and.
Yeah, the Pack Saddle Bar is a place like that.
More than once I've heard about this place up near the Arnett area.
Yeah, the what's that place we ate in Canadian? The Goat, the Stumbling Goat. That's a Guy Fieri type place.
That was a good place. That was
for
good.
Sure.
Very good.
Simon's is a cool place too.
That's one that was kind of coming to my mind
because of what's around it. And the old style of the building, for sure. Simon's Catch.
I mean, everything's homemade in there, right? I mean, the hand-breaded catfish, it's in the commercial.
Mm-hmm.
The desserts are great, yeah. And it's an establishment out here in Western Oklahoma. I mean, people go, I don't know a lot of places, but I know about Simon's.
You know, a place that burnt down a couple years ago that could have been is the Hamburger Inn in Mangum. Oh, here we go. Rendezvous Barbecue in Memphis. That's where Joe went. And my folks on the way.
Yum. You can't go wrong barbecue in Memphis.
Yeah, but you need to go right. Yeah, Mel's Diner in Wheeler. I've been there too. There's a lot of these joints.
Yeah. Man, we shouldn't have started talking about food.
No.
Hey, we got a good lunch today.
We should have started earlier.
We're going to get a good lunch today.
Are we?
Yeah.
What are we having?
We're having a Thanksgiving meal at the boss's house. How could that not be good?
Well, there's
it's turkey and dressing and everything.
Everybody have a great Thursday.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball